Welcome to Bay Focus. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have an exciting show planned. You need to stay tuned. New Life Solutions, an incredible pro-life ministry, is here, and they have produced a documentary that gives you the history of back 38 years ago and how they were on the front lines of the pro-life movement and demonstrations against abortion. We're going to show you some of that today. Let's take a quick look.
In a landmark ruling, the Supreme Court today legalized abortion.
If they're going to start putting us in jail for speaking up for life, we need to squeak a little bit more than we're squeaking now.
I had never been in a cell before.
The witness was powerful.
And everything that we're doing today is because of what God laid on their heart back in those early 80s.
Well, that just gives you a little bit of a look at the incredible Choose Courage documentary that New Life Solutions has put together, which we're going to talk more about in just a moment. But before we do, I want to introduce my guest today. Well, always an honor to do a show and do interviews with New Life Solutions, an incredible pro-life ministry, saving babies from abortion on multiple levels that they're involved in. And to talk about that today, I'm going to introduce to my left is Christina Maurice, who is Creative and Communications Manager for New Life Solutions. Right next to her is Charles DiMarco, who you've seen many times on this show. It's our President and CEO of New Life Solutions. Welcome back. And to my right, new to the show today, and we're so honored to have Lisa Stuckerman, who is Vice President of Philanthropy for New Life Solutions. And that is one title that encompasses many areas. I want to just say that they all do a lot of different things. But wow, what an honor to have you all. And I'm going to start with you, Charles, as President. We have people that don't know what New Life Solutions does. Please fill them in.
Yeah, well, thank you first, Arlene, for us being here today. We really appreciate the opportunity to talk about the mission work of New Life Solutions. For those that may not be aware of the ministry of New Life Solutions and the breadth and depth of the services we provide, little background. Our 38-year anniversary is this year, and our mission is to protect the unborn, share the gospel, and transform our communities one life at a time. We do that through a handful of ministries that we serve. We have a student-centric ministry where we can go into the school systems, public, private, Christian, middle school, high school, and we talk about healthy choices, healthy relationships. We've spoken to, in the last year, nearly 6,700 students, and inception to date, nearly 200,000 students.
Wow.
And then our intervention side of our ministry, and that is our For a Woman's Place medical clinics. That's the brand that is in the Hillsborough County, Pinellas County. We have 4 locations where all of our services are free. And here is where we provide medical services such as sonograms, STI and STD testing and treatment, well woman care, pregnancy tests. We're also, and we'll talk about in a little bit, abortion pill reversal certified. And then we also provide counseling and classes, and we provide material resources as well, such as diapers, wipes, clothing, any assistance financially as well that we can do. This year alone, in the last 12 months, we've seen nearly 350 babies saved from abortion. And in our 38-year history, over 11,000 babies saved from abortion that we are aware of. And then finally, our restoration side of our ministry, which is our Passages of Hope ministry. And this is for individuals, women and men, who have walked through the trauma and pain of an abortion. And we have spoken to thousands of individuals who have walked through this. And really, this is about healing and restoration, and really understanding that our past does not define our future, and that our God is a God of complete and total restoration. And then all in, because we are a ministry, we share the gospel. We have seen in the last year nearly 250 professions of faith and rededications, as well as in our inception to date, over 10,000. And so that's just a very brief, quick look at the totality of the ministry of New Life Solutions.
It is so many arms of ministry and has evolved. And just quickly tell us, because we'll talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes, but quickly tell us where are we at. Roe v. Wade, the repeal of Roe v. Wade has altered the landscape of how we're going about saving babies. It's a whole different world. It did not eradicate abortion. Where is the fight at now? And I know It's nationwide, but on a different level.
That's right. It's a great question. June 24th, 2022, Roe was overturned. And while we celebrate that, and we know many individuals poured into that for years, what that did is take one topic of a conflict in the sanctity of life movement, and it made 50 individual skirmishes. In fact, if we were to look at a map of the United States, which we have,
which we're doing right now,
this map shows that every state now has different laws. You have some states that are standing for life and really passing very life-affirming laws and helpful for life. And then you have other states on the other end of the spectrum passing very pro-abortion laws, really allowing abortion up to term. So now we have 50 skirmishes going on, really, but it proves the point, number one, that it's not about laws. It's a heart issue, a spiritual issue.
Yes.
This is a spiritual warfare taking place, and we want to get to a place where abortion is unthinkable.
Yeah.
But what that is a call to action for us, because it's changing the landscape, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, because it's a driving up chemical abortion, which we'll talk about, the mental health trauma, which we can also address, because it's making the work for us even more higher demand.
Yeah.
And in one way, we almost are just getting started now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it also keeps changing.
Correct.
The map keeps changing. You know, you have different things. All right. I want to get into, as promised with our viewers, Lisa, I'm going to start with you, and where I just know, just stay with us. I know we're going to run out of time. I feel it already. But we are so privileged to really reveal to our viewers for the first time, there is a documentary that was produced that goes back to the early history. Some people may not know the sacrifices people did to make the case against abortion. How did this documentary, and you both were involved, so you can both speak to it, but I'll start with you, Lisa. How did it happen?
Sure. It was quite organic. I had just started at New Life Solutions, and I asked Charles if we had the history of the organization documented anywhere, and he said, actually we don't. So, but you could have coffee with one of our founders. And so I reached out to Sandy Uri, and we met at Panera. And she started to tell me about the culture at the time, her concern with the God is dead movement, and wondering what she and her husband could do to make a difference. And I started to hear about the sacrifices that they made, how they were arrested. And I knew this was a story that needed to be told. She handed me a folder of newspaper articles, clippings that she had shared, that she had clipped about the movement and how it started. And I said, my goodness, could we take these back to the office and scan them for archival purposes? And she said we could. When I was driving back to the office, I felt like I had Smithsonian artifacts in the front seat of my car. I just held the folder while I was driving. I got into the office, ran to Christina and said, did you know any of this? And your response was?
I had no idea. And so Lisa and I went over those news articles and just collaborated to decide how are we going to tell the story. Our supporters need to know about this. And so we had at that time already chosen a theme of Choose Courage because we felt it was so appropriate for our ministry and all the aspects of the work that's being done throughout our family of ministries. And I said, well, why don't we do a timeline?
Right.
Why don't we take this? There has to be so much more of the story to tell. And that's kind of how it all got started.
Well, and we're going to go to a clip of it because you really have to watch the whole thing, which is available at newlifesolutions.org, and you can /choose-courage, go directly to it. But it is the history. I did not know New Life Solutions was involved in this. I remember well people protesting, being arrested, but this to save babies. But I did not know on this court trial. There is a court trial that happened, mass arrests here locally that went to trial. And we want to take a look at this. Let's take a look.
When these officers were loading these women onto the carriers to take them out, these guys were crying. 6'4" guys. The witness was powerful. So we get out there to the jail, same thing. Those booking officers, They did not want to book these women into the jail. So we had 186 defendants, I believe was the number, in one location, in front of one judge, in front of one jury.
These were people from all over who were so dedicated, and they would persevere to the end.
We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant. The defendant was guilty of the offense of trespass on property.
Clerk started going through the process, and by the time she got to the third defendant, tears running down her face. You are making a witness by doing something that matters.
Well, that just gives you a little, that is one piece of that documentary. There are so many things from the beginning on what they did when they started New Life Solutions and then graduated into getting involved in this protest movement, and the sacrifices that were made to get the word out that people were fighting against abortion. And I remember this very well. I remember there was multiple aspects of the pro-life movement back then, Charles, but this was in the 80s, but this was one side of it that really felt they needed to take it to the mat, take it to the abortion clinics, try to get people to not walk in those doors and do the deed. You know, they really tried to get that to, how has that changed today? That was courage, enormous amount of courage it took for the founders of New Life Solutions and others like them nationwide to do what they did. How has that changed today? We're not seeing people blocking access, but you have worked a way in to make change, and it still takes courage. But how does that look today?
Yeah, correct. Now, we are so thankful for our founders and those that served at that period of time, and they did demonstrate a tremendous amount of courage. It really started the ministry. So we are able to do as effectively as we are today because of their efforts. Now, today, as we sit here in 2023, the way that we are choosing courage looks very different. And we're approaching this very different now in terms of outreach to the patients and clients that we serve, how we engage, even with, we have one location of ours in North Tampa that is right next door to an abortion clinic, literally next door, probably about 20 feet away, our two front doors. And our team members have very nice relationships with the individuals that serve over there. They pray for them. They engage them in conversation, so much so that we have had multiple patients referred to our clinic from the abortion clinic because the abortion clinic knew the service that they were going to get at our location. There is not a conflict in that. We pray for them. Those individuals serving at an abortion clinic, it's a challenge and reminder for us to be praying for them, to be praying for their hearts, to be praying for those scales to fall off, that they will eventually leave that industry, to be praying for them as well. But what we do now in terms of choosing courage are really some pioneering efforts into doing abortion pill reversal and taking a stand with what's going on in chemical abortion, to be very outspoken about the trauma that's taking place with individuals that are walking through the pain of a chemical abortion. And this is the thing now. What used to be maybe Roe, and then Roe was overturned, and it didn't end abortion, didn't make abortion illegal. We talked about it, just created much more of a complex issue. It's turned to chemical abortion. 60% of every abortion in the US and in Florida is a chemical abortion. And for those individuals that are not familiar, very quickly, this is a pill method. It's not a surgical procedure in a brick and mortar location. It's a 2-pill method taken within about 2 days. The first pill, which is called mifepristone, will cut off the progesterone to the growing child. That will end the life of the child. A day or two later, misoprostol is taken, and that will put the young woman into labor. And now she's alone in her restroom going through her abortion experience. The trauma that is happening, both physically and emotionally, is off the charts. So we are taking a stand to be abortion pill reversal certified, meaning we can prescribe progesterone again. All that is progesterone. And if they connect with us within a day or two, from that first pill, we can intervene, and we've seen many successful outcomes. This is what choosing courage looks like today.
Yeah.
Choosing courage today looks like us providing licensed mental health counseling for those individuals that are dealing with trauma way above what one individual session will do. Multiple sessions, multiple layers. Today, this is what choosing courage looks like.
I love that. I love that. We're going to take a break. I have a question for the two of you when we come back, and we're going to get a little bit more into what the future holds now for the pro-life movement. And, you know, we say the pro-life movement, it's like an overall term, but the reality is we're saving lives. I mean, these are lives that are being saved. You know, pro-life is a whole outlook on life. Your life, you know, you want life saved, you know, from the womb on, you know. So we want to bring it to a personal. I want to personalize this on some things too. These are real people making real decisions to save a life. You know, sometimes they're not easy decisions, but we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more with New Life Solutions.
We want to hear from you. Is there an event happening in the Tampa Bay area or an organization helping the local community? If you have answers, let us know. Email us at darleneg@ctnonline.com. Find us online at ctnonline.com/BayFocus or follow us on Facebook at BayFocus TV.
Welcome to Bay Focus. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have so many things to tell you about. There's some exciting things coming up.
The power of God is so much stronger. The power of Jesus is so much stronger.
Well, we're back with our guests from New Life Solutions today. And I want to ask Lisa and Christina a question here, because you both work with the community. You're out philanthropy, you're working, making connections for New Life Solutions, involved in events planning, which I know Christina has been involved in over the years as well. And then you're doing all the media, the social media and everything. How do you connect with the community to really put a face to what you're doing? So many times the pro-life movement is labeled and thought of a certain way. But what has been your impact in going in the community, really trying to help get the message out? Yeah. And how did that documentary affect you? I'm going to start with Lisa, and then we'll go to Christina too.
The documentary was pivotal in regard to this question that you're asking us, because it helps to reframe for today the work of the pro-life movement, and that it's a courageous movement.
Yeah.
And if you think back through the years that we've been through, where we all were huddled in our homes and afraid, but this is a day to choose courage. Yeah. This is a time for us to stand up for the injustice that we want to see made right. Yeah. New Life Solutions provides an opportunity for individuals who feel that personal injustice to walk it out in our ministry, whether that be through telling their friends what choose courage means, or attending one of our events, or having a conversation with one of us about how they can ensure that the ministry thrives and moves forward. Choose Courage was absolutely pivotal. And I think all three of us and the staff in general saying, it's a new day. We stand on the shoulders of those who came before us.
I love that.
But it is a new day, and it's a time for courage. Christina?
Right, exactly. And I think I just find it so important to be able to equip and empower those who have that passion for the unborn, and for the women also who are finding themselves in these unplanned pregnancies. And I think that this documentary really kind of it reignites that conviction that we have about the travesty of abortion and how, like Lisa said, we have before been scared to speak out. And this is just a reminder that we can have that courage to have those pro-life conversations and to be equipped to know that we are on the right side.
I think one of the things that's helped us, and you guys are having these conversations, all of you are, but out in the community and social media, et cetera. But in the documentary deals with this. There was a movie that was out years ago called Silent Scream. There's been so much technology that has shown the various stages of development. Back when Roe v. Wade was turned into law, I think it was 1973, if I'm correct, there wasn't a lot of knowledge on the development of a baby in the womb. Nobody had seen the ultrasound, you didn't have the 3D look, It's a little easier to me to have this conversation now. People have they see the technology of the developmental stages. That's got to have helped to some degree in the conversation.
It has helped tremendously. With the technology today, and in all of our clinics, we use the highest level technology, the 3D, 4D technology. Here's what we see. We see 9 of 10 women choose life for their baby when they see their sonogram. And we're able to email them the image as well, and they're able to really see. However, it's important for your viewers and our communities to know, because of what we just talked about and the speed of which individuals are moving forward with their abortion, specifically a chemical abortion, the speed to reach them is even quicker. And individuals are moving forward even before a sonogram. Here's 2 interesting numbers and statistics. 4 or 5, when they walk into our centers, 4 or 5 women, regardless of for what they walk in for, will choose life. When they see their sonogram, 9 of 10. But also 4 or 5 women, when they walk into an abortion clinic, will choose an abortion. So the question is, where will they go first? We have to reach them quicker, and we have to engage with them quicker at that intersection of decision making.
Wow. I didn't even put it together now with this the chemical side of it. They can, you actually, the timetable has increased. I mean, you've got to get in. All right. In our last few minutes that we have, I want to talk about, you have a plan. We've talked about chemical abortion. We've talked about mental health. There's this website that people can go to, in Europe, and get what it's horrible. Abortion pills shipped to them. I don't even want to say it because it's like, I don't want anybody going there,
Yes.
So, but you have a plan going forward. You have a 3-step plan.
Yeah,
what is that?
It's really from a global perspective, a strategic plan that focuses on really 3 areas. Number 1 is communication and education and connections. And that would be with our communities, with church partners, individuals, just to communicate that the need is even greater. Many people are surprised that in 2022, after Roe was overturned, after pro-life laws passed in Florida, abortion rates went up, and they're continuing to grow because abortion is growing, specifically within chemical abortion. So it's to communicate the need for our services, and also to communicate with the patients and clients that we serve the dangers and risks associated with a chemical abortion, both physically and emotionally. So that's number 1. Number 2 is all around technology. And that is, again, getting back to what we were just referring to, the speed in which we can connect with an individual who is abortion-minded or abortion-determined. And that's talking about things like SEO, search engine optimization. It's using Google AdWords. It's talking about some more complex strategies associated with geofencing, geotargeting, digital geofencing, in that being able to connect with individuals as they're approaching other locations where there's a need. And so we want to connect with them quicker. It's about investigating ways that we can have 24/7 coverage, HIPAA-compliant telehealth, where nurses can engage with an individual, regardless if it's 2 a.m. on a Saturday night and you're searching on your phone. We can engage with you immediately with a medical provider.
Okay.
And then the last one is all about the idea about expansion of services and this idea of expansion of availability. And again, a year ago at this time, we would be having a discussion. We were not offering abortion pill reversal or licensed mental health counseling. 12 months later, here we are, and we're going to be doing the same thing going forward to always be able to connect a deeper relationship with those that we serve.
Yeah. I think this is really, really important. And I want to say one thing too, so our viewers know, we're putting on screen the website, the best way to connect with you all to go through the website. We're also putting on screen how they can get to the documentary, which, just really want to commend you all for putting that together. Amazing how the footage was found, like you said, the archives, the people that did this, that went out and just put their lives on the line, that you were able to sit down and talk to. One of the more riveting things in that documentary was how difficult it was, and the founders of New Life Solutions was to just engage the church at that time. Everybody's afraid of losing their tax-exempt status. They're afraid this was too much of a political football. It took, you had to win over even the church community to come. Yeah. It's riveting. You really have to watch this documentary. But so anybody watching now, that we're putting on the screen how they can connect with you. But is there one, and we only have about 2 minutes. Got to say it really quick. What's the face of the person you saved? Or do they feel, when you've saved that baby, is there a relief? What is that woman and man may be associated with them? What's the reaction?
It is just that. Yeah. It is relief. And at the end of the day, if I could sum it all up in one word, the totality of our ministries, especially within what we're doing on the sanctity of life issue, it's hope.
Yeah.
They are connecting with us and feeling hopeful for the first time.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's bringing tears to our eyes. That's it. They feel like, I cannot imagine living with the decision to have aborted your child. So to the fact that you can stop that from happening. And again, you've got that passages of hope ministry for those that have been through that. So there's forgiveness, there's hope there as well. Thank you all so much for coming on. It's fun having you all on the show together. And thank you for tuning in. I hope we've touched your heart today to really continue. I know many of you do support this ministry and others like it that save babies from abortion. But if there's somebody watching that you don't know which way to go, you don't know, just if you're contemplating abortion, contact New Life Solutions. Just take the step. Just take the step to talk to them and see if you can just listen and hear what they have to say and how they can come alongside you and help you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Connect with me here in a variety of ways we've shown you today in the show where you can. We will see you next week. May God richly, richly bless you.